The night justice failed. A teenage boy waits at a bus stop. He has done nothing wrong. Within minutes, his life is over, and a nation is forced to confront a truth it tried to ignore. This is the story of Stephen Lawrence. On the night of April 22, 1993, in Eltham, 18-year-old Stephen Lawrence stood beside his friend, waiting for a bus to go home. Stephen was not just any teenager. He had dreams of becoming an architect. He was focused, kind, and full of promise. Then, without warning, a group of white youths approached. They shouted racist abuse, and then they attacked. Stephen was stabbed twice. The wounds were fatal. He tried to run, but within minutes, he collapsed and died on the street. A failed investigation. From the very beginning, the investigation by Metropolitan Police Service was deeply flawed. Key suspects were identified quickly: Gary Dobson and David Norris. Witnesses came forward and evidence existed. But arrests were mishandled. Leads were ignored and critical time was lost. Despite strong indications of who was responsible, no one was convicted. For Stephen's family, this was more than grief. It was betrayal. A family that refused to stay silent. Stephen's parents, especially his mother Doreen Lawrence, refused to let the case fade away. They fought the system. They challenged the police and they demanded answers. Their campaign turned a local tragedy into a national issue. Public outrage grew. The Macpherson Inquiry. In 1997, the British government launched a public inquiry led by William Macpherson. The result was explosive. The inquiry concluded that the police investigation was marred by institutional racism. It was not just about one failed case. It exposed deep systemic problems within British policing. Justice, years later. For nearly 2 decades, the case remained unresolved. Then, advances in forensic science changed everything. In 2012, 2 of the attackers were finally convicted of Stephen's murder. Gary Dobson was sentenced to minimum 15 years and 2 months in prison. David Norris sentenced to minimum 14 years and 3 months in prison. It had taken 19 years. Justice had come, but far too late. Why this story matters. The murder of Stephen Lawrence changed the United Kingdom. It forced a national reckoning with racism. It reformed policing policies and accountability. It showed how persistence can challenge even the most broken systems. But it also left a haunting truth. Justice delayed is justice diminished. Stephen Lawrence should have lived to build his future. Instead, his name became a symbol, a reminder of what happens when prejudice meets power and goes unchecked. Subscribe for dark, true stories.